सहज योग ध्यान में आप सभी का स्वागत है। वेलकम टू सहज योगा मेडिटेशन। हम अपनी आंखें बंद करते हैं। अपने अंदर की शक्ति को एवं श्री माताजी को नमन करेंगे। Let us close our eyes and pay respects to the power within us and Shri Mataji. हम साथ में अपनी कुंडलिनी को रेस करके बंधन लेंगे। Let us now together raise our kundalini and take bandhan.
Let us put ourselves into bandhan. After raising our kundalini, raise. Attention on your sahasrara. Don't close your eyes. Push back your head. One. Again. Sit straight. Take it up on your head. 2. 3. Now a bandhan. 1. 2. Do it properly, systematically. 3. All of us should do properly. 3. 4. 5. Try to wait as I'm doing. 6. 7.
हम फिर से अपनी आंखें बंद करेंगे। Let us again close our eyes. हमारा संपूर्ण चित्त हम अपने अंदर स्थापित करेंगे। Let us take our entire attention inside us. अब अपना दायां हाथ हम ज़मीन की ओर रखेंगे या ज़मीन पर रखेंगे और बायां हाथ वहीं रहने देंगे गोद पर और अपनी ईड़ा नाड़ी को हम संतुलन करेंगे. Let us now balance our left channel by placing right hand on the ground or towards the ground, and left hand would be on our lap itself. संपूर्ण चित अपने बाई नाड़ी पर, entire tension on our left channel. माँ कृपया करके मेरी सारी इच्छाएं शुद्ध करिए. मेरे अंदर जो भी ज्ञान है उसको भी शुद्ध करिए और मेरे ईड़ा नाड़ी को पूर्णतः शुद्ध करिए माँ. Mother, kindly purify my left channel, all my desires and all the knowledge within me. अब हम अपना दायां हाथ गोद पे ले आएंगे, बायां हाथ मोड़ के आकाश की ओर करते हैं. Let us now balance our right channel by placing our right hand on our lap and left hand would be towards the sky. संपूर्ण चित्त हम अपने दाईं ओर रखेंगे. Entire attention on our right side. माँ कृपया करके मेरी दाईं ओर जो भी अतिरिक्त गर्मी है उसको आकाश तत्व में विलीन कर दीजिए. मेरे अंदर जो भी अतिरिक्त विचार हैं, अतिरिक्त उष्णाएं हैं, उस सबको आकाश में ले जाइए. Mother, please cleanse my right channel. Remove all the excessive heat, excessive thoughts in the sky element and give my right channel a complete balance. दोनों हाथ खोलेंगे, गोद पे रखेंगे, संपूर्ण चित अपने मध्यम नाड़ी पर. Let us keep the both hands on our lap and take entire attention on central channel. माँ कृपया करके हमें संतुलन में ले आइए. Mother, please give us complete balance. हम अपना चित्त सहस्त्रार पे स्थापित करके श्री माता जी की वाणी सुनेंगे. Let us place our attention on सहस्त्रार and listen to Shri Mataji.
ये बाहर का समय है और इस समय अनेक लोग अपने सुकृतों को फलद्रूप होते हुए देखेंगे. आपने जो पुण्य पहले जन्म में किए हैं उसके आज आशीर्वाद स्वरूप आप आत्म साक्षात्कार होगा. When the Kundalini rises, you actually can see the movement of Kundalini. There have been many people who have been talking of Kundalini awakening. Actually, none of them who say so have shown the rising of the Kundalini. The reason being, the Kundalini never rose. The Kundalini only rises when there is somebody who is already enlightened and who knows the job of rising the Kundalini. When the Kundalini rises, as I told you, she enriches your centers. The center about which I was going to talk to you today is the center of creativity, which looks after your power of action
physical and mental. This power of action moves on the right side of the spinal cord and coming to the optic chiasma, it crosses over, passes to the left side and creates an institution called ego. The institution of ego is a myth. What we do is to get something dead, like some trees dead, so make some platform or some furniture. We take some stones and make a hall, and we think we have done a great job. Actually, what we have done is to reconstruct the dead. But while doing it, we get the feeling that we have done it something. That is how our ego develops. This channel on the right hand side caters to your future. So those people who plan too much, think too much, exhaust the energy of this center, because this center has the first responsibility to convert the fat cells in the stomach for the use of the brain, which is overused, to make them into grey cells. So when you start thinking too much, it has to work more for this very important function. When it starts working for one function, the other functions are neglected. And the other functions are, it has to cater, to nourish, or to give energy to your liver, to your pancreas, to your spleen, to your kidneys, and part of your intestine. So, once you start neglecting these organs, first your liver suffers. Means the function of liver gets limited. The function of the liver basically is to absorb the heat of the body, which is the poison, and allow it to permeate into the bloodstream. But the energy is so limited that it cannot function properly. So this center starts neglecting liver, and liver then cannot get rid of all the heat of the body. So the heat starts flowing upward. When it starts flowing upward, then there's a center, what we call as the right heart, which gets affected. People develop a disease called asthma with it. Also they develop the disease, what we call as a massive heart attack on the left hand side, when the heat reaches there. They also can develop a paralysis of the right side when it reaches the brain. The vulnerability is there. And then it is triggered somehow by the left side action maybe. Such people are futuristic. They go on planning for the future. The future doesn't exist. Only the present is the truth. But they go on planning about future, waste their energies, and ultimately find that all their plans fail. One must know the divine plan. If you know the divine plan, then you don't have to plan, because you know the divine is already planning for you everything. When you understand after realization that everything is done by Param Chaitanya, by this all-pervading power, by this rule, then you do not think that you are doing something. Moreover, as I told you, when the Kundalini rises through the Agya Chakra, both these institutions of ego and superego are sucked in. So there is no ego. So you become egoless. So your karmas or your duties or your so-called work you have done become akarmas. Then you don't talk like this that I have done this, I have done that. They say, oh, it's rising, it's happening, it's working out. To start speaking in the third person. Even sometimes children you will find they talk like that. This little boy won't go because it is obstinate. They'll talk about themselves. If you notice, if they are realized schools, they talk like that in the third person. So you become a third person. And nourishment to this energy, to this center comes through your realization. As the Kundalini is connected to the mains, as a result, you get into balance. You are in thoughtless awareness. Somebody has asked me about the thinking yesterday. So the thought arises from the past or from the future. As we have a capacity to react because of the construction of our body as a prism. It's a little scientific thing, but if you listen to some of my lectures, you'll understand what I mean. Now what happens when you see something, you react. Anything you see, you react. You see this carpet, you'll react. You will see this mic, you'll react. You'll think something about it. So a thought comes either from the future or from the past, and there's a wave of thought coming and going, again thought coming and going. It comes and disappears. In between these thoughts, there's a little space, which is the present. But if I say you pay attention to yourself, to your present, you cannot. Unless until you are realized. So when the Kundalini rises, these thoughts they lean out, means they become thin. When they become thin, the space in between increases, and that's how you become thoughtlessly aware. So the thinking is minimized. Then the liver doesn't have to do all the time the job of converting your fat cells into grey cells. It comes into balance. Then the second one is the pancreas. That is neglected too. In a person who is futuristic, who thinks too much, plans too much, that also becomes neglected. Now, the function of the pancreas is to absorb the sugar into bloodstream in a proper way. But because it is neglected, it has a very limited energy, it cannot function, so you get diabetes. Because of too much thinking, you get diabetes. As I told you yesterday that in India, if you have to give tea to someone, be careful if he's from a village. Because in the village, you have to put so much sugar that the spoon should stand at right angles, otherwise it's no tea for them. And they never get diabetes. Never get diabetes. Diabetes is the headache of the people who sit on chairs, write, think, worry, and are time bound. All such people get diabetes. They are futuristic, egoistical, arrogant, hot-tempered. And such people get also heart attacks, which are of a massive nature. The left heart is connected in a way. When there's too much of exertion on the physical side, also one can get heart attack. The another type of heart attack one gets is a angina, That's due to some other reason. That's due to the lethargic heart. So now we have another problem which is very serious, is that of the spleen. Spleen is the speedometer. It's the one that gives us rhythm. If we are rhythmic in life, spleen keeps all right. But we are very hectic. And the function of the spleen is to create red blood corpuscles whenever there is an emergency. So the way we are always under a shock. Early in the morning you get up, what do you see? You read the newspaper, horrid news. I mean, newspapers have to give horrid news. They never give good news, you know. They say we don't want to say if some plane has landed safely, but but if there's a disaster, so many have died, killed in action, murders, horrible things. Naturally, you get a shock because you are a human being, and in a subconscious, you feel. In the unconscious area, you get the jerk. There's a shock. Then you start the day in a hectic way. You are time bound. You have to rush. You can't take your breakfast. You just take something, grab, rush to the car or maybe on anything, and then you find a jam. In modern days, everything keeps you on attention. Then you reach the office. There's the boss is getting angry with you because you are late. As it is, I don't know how much work we really produce. Only the mess we have created in this world, I think, much more in the modern times than much work. We cannot have people like Mozart nowadays. We can't have anyone like Michelangelo. We cannot have any artists who can create beautiful things. We do not have beautiful buildings now, horrible plastics. We cannot have beautiful artistic clothes. Everything is becoming plastic, and for which we are working so very hard to create plastic mountains.
हम कुछ देर ध्यान करेंगे. Let us meditate sometime.